Wait for it. Wait for it. And we're live. Hey, all you crazy sci-fi and fantasy fans. It's time for your daily dose of shenanigans over here at the Blasters and Blades podcast. Just a couple of nerdy veterans geeking out over our science fiction passions and fantastical fantasies. A place where magic is king, the sky is the limit, and space is the place. We are the podcast that puts the fun in dysfunction. Mostly that's Nick, but we love him anyway. But without further ado, we're going to let our guest, Miss Teri K. Jobe, introduce herself to our listeners and viewers at home.
Hi, I'm Teri K. Jobe. If you listen to this frequently, you've probably heard me before. Narrator of some audiobooks and baby author that has not fledged yet.
You'll launch from the nest soon. I just know it.
You got enough people encouraging you.
So long as I don't plummet into the earth and leave a crater, we're good.
That's only happened twice before, but we got a pretty good track record from there.
Sweet. Absolutely. All right. So the next part of the introduction, dear listener, is how we first found Miss Teri K. We're just going to call her Teri from here on out because that other stuff sounds really pretentious, and she's really not. She's kind of cool. We like her. But I found her through Hillbilly over at Three Ravens Publications Incorporated, Esquire the Third. I don't know. I'm trying to make them sound more pretentious than they are. It didn't work. Three Ravens Publishing. They're cool people. We like them. Their Discord is hopping. They got all the cool memes. I steal them shamelessly. So if you've liked some of my memes on the Blasters Blades Twitter page, well, you know, there's a good chance that might have been one of the places I stole from. So shamelessly, I might add. But I do, because I'm a gentleman. I give them a reaction, a thumbs up, or a laughing emoji. They get something from me because I'm just that kind of generous. Except for Stabby. Her, I just steal. And then she stabs Nick, and it's a vicious cycle. Poor Nick.
Yeah, we're gonna have to switch computers because I'm tired of getting stabbed on this side, and we need to.
You gotta mix it up a little bit. Yeah, make the stars match.
Maybe I can make a nice little like picket fence or lattice pattern.
Then you just say
you could turn them into gills.
Yeah, you could say it's
my gills are behind my ears, so I don't know.
We'll give her ideas.
We'll do rib gills. I'm for it. I've seen the boys.
Outstanding. And because I don't remember if we asked you the religion questions the last time, because you've been on a whole lot of our discussion panels, we're just going to ask them today. And you could pretend like you've never heard them before, just in case. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
All
Maybe.
Right. Star Wars, Star Trek, or Firefly?
Ooh, gotta be Star Wars. Seen some Star Trek, never seen Firefly. Don't hate me, please. I'm going to, eventually. I've heard good things. So, Star Wars for sure.
Okay. I approve. We accept that. All right. And because we're polytheistic, Game of Thrones, The Wheel of Time, or Chronicles of Narnia?
Ooh. Chronicles of Narnia.
That's a good one. All right. And because we are civilized, and we're not just, we're civilized human beings, we're no longer the knuckle-dragging troglodytes we used to be. We save all of the bullying and the meanness for Stabby, and mostly to the people that send her hate mail. I mean, we got one guy crying. It was ugly, people. I'm just saying, you know, therapy, people, if that's you, you know who you are. Just saying, therapy. But coffee or tea, and how do you take it?
Coffee, and usually very specifically. If it's my day off, I have a nice flavored coffee. Flavors can vary. Hazelnut's always good. With some stevia. Gave up actual sugar a couple years ago. If I'm at work and my coworkers, who call it frou-frou coffee, are around, it's regular coffee, usually Folgers, with, again, stevia, and my own coffee creamer.
Homemade? You make it yourself?
No, I just buy my own from the store and put it in the fridge.
Oh, that works too. That's what she does.
That was a misleading way to put it. My bad.
It's like, oh, you make your own? Go on.
I make my own French vanilla creamer. So half and half, condensed milk, mix it together with with vanilla and hazelnut, and together you'll get a French vanilla. And you stir it into the oven on the pot until everything mixes. I'm doing an experiment where I got extra and then I froze it to see if I could get like creamer ice cubes that I could already have portioned out. But for some reason, the creamer isn't actually freezing.
Huh.
And I don't know why. It's just kind of in that almost frozen state that they get, but it's just staying there, which means
like
kind of slushy almost, which means it's not really getting cold enough that I could like take it out of the ice tray, do another batch, and like put it in a bag or something. So I'm gonna let that set for a little bit longer, see what happens, and then worst case scenario, I'll throw it in like it is. But I was experimenting if I could get a lot, make it all at once, and then freeze it, and then I have to do that every week or whatever.
I just put bourbon in my coffee.
It's a good plan.
I mean, that works until you got kids running around screaming that want dad and they want food and you're hungover. It's really not a good idea to be drunk when you're trying to cook bacon, by the way. I'm not telling you how I know. I'm just saying it ends badly.
Everyone gets a grilled cheese. Problem solved.
All right. So now that we answered the important questions, if you want some of her frou-frou coffee that she mentioned, we do highly recommend Coffee Brand Coffee. Stabby, take it away. You are the unspoken ambassador on this podcast of all things frou-frou and coffee.
I'm a sucker for flavored coffee. I currently am doing blueberry cobbler, and I also got a bag of the pecan sticky buns. So good. And I just use half and half in that one because the flavor is so good. You don't need anything extra added to it. But they also, because it was my second order, sent me a free bag of coffee. And it's a roaster's choice. It's an Argentina one, I believe. And they send you whole beans. So you have to grind them up yourself. It is so good. I can smell it from the bedroom. Those helmets, those are mine. But yeah, the blueberry cobbler is without a doubt my favorite. I use a little bit of Dunkin' extra creamer in it and a little bit of whipped cream on top, and it tastes like an actual cobbler. It is so delicious. It makes the whole house smell like blueberries too. It's so good.
I'm still doing the s'mores. I ordered a second bag. I haven't got it yet, so I'll see if they sent me special stuff or if they just like you. But
well, I mean, I am Stabby, so
yeah. So I did another round.
Yeah, but it's in my name.
Oh, well, maybe they were lazy.
I was going to say the Stabby must be respected, but I mean, that's still true.
Before we get canceled by everyone for just bad dad jokes, and I will say that I ordered some more of the s'mores. And I've been using that with the French vanilla coffee I make. I got the idea for that coffee from the Craftology TikTok channel. You can go check it out. It is awesome. She's got lots of recipes for various flavor mixes to get everything from cookies and cream to a bourbon to my favorite French vanilla. I'm kind of basic that way. I conquer the French every time I drink my coffee, and they still don't fire a shot.
If you do make one, make your standard regular plain Jane, no extra flavoring. Add a little bit of peppermint extract and a little bit of cocoa extract. Make a peppermint mocha. I'm telling you, it's totally worth it. It is freaking delicious, and it goes really well in the Argentina coffee.
We will get together.
I'll also say if you
trade recipes,
you can also use maple extract with a little bit of cocoa and coffee. That's also good.
Oh,
sounds yummy.
Well, Canadian flair, then.
And this for Miss Teri. I don't know about your workplace, but my old workplace, they love to use all my coffee creamer. They stopped doing that when you start bringing it to work in pumping bottles.
If I had any, I would try that.
Oh, I wasn't pumping. I just went and bought the bottle strictly. So that's
fair. That's completely fair.
I might just put
nice.
I would have done something a little different. I'd probably gotten like a milk of magnesia bottle, cleaned it out real good, and mixed my coffee creamer in that.
I think my favorite one was somebody kept stealing my my juices out of the fridge. I would take a bottle of juice with me, like cranberry juice or pomegranate juice, just whatever I was in the mood for that week. But they kept stealing all my juices, and only out of my bag, not out of anybody else's bag, strictly out of my lunch bag. So I put a sign on the fridge in the break room that said, for whoever keeps stealing my juice, I have my estrogen hormones in those juices. Enjoy your next period. My boss didn't like it very much, and she questioned everybody that she knew had a hysterectomy. I was the first one. She goes, Marissa, I'm like, you know I have my ovaries. I'm not on estrogen.
She was afraid you really did it.
Don't steal my stuff.
And just because they're having fun with it, Stabby and Nick are going to see if they can make a commercial for Coffee Brand Coffee and Blasters and Blades together. Because basically, like George Lucas, his like prop room threw up in their house, so they've got everything they need to make some badassery, and they're going to have fun with it. And we're going to see.
It's more like my bank account threw up into Lucasfilm, who then threw up in my living room.
We also just got 2 new blasters.
Huh?
We also just got 2 new blasters.
It's true.
Now you need some blades. You need some blades.
We have plenty of blades.
Never have enough knives. Never have enough knives. You need at least a brace of them. That's 13 people, I think. It's been a while.
I know we have more than that in my house.
I was gonna say I have
the way
2
she
nice
said
blocks.
that, Nick, I don't know. Like, I'm just saying the hairs in the back of my neck stood up just a little bit.
We have a knife block on the side of the fridge, and then we have a knife block over by the deep freezer too. So I'm pretty sure that
Like
that's definitely more
5.5 feet apart.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
See, here's
That's
the
not
thing.
more
I
than
wasn't
13.
counting the kitchen knives.
All right. We're friends, right, Teri? Friends.
Oh yeah, totally.
Okay, just making
in
sure.
the bedroom.
And
There's 3 in front of the 3
Uh-oh.
in front of the TV, 1 on the dresser, 2 on
Stabby,
his
Stabby.
nightstand.
The first rule of Knife Club is we don't talk about Knife Club.
Don't talk about Knife Club.
My name is Stabby.
All right, I'm just saying when the ATF come to your door because your kitchen knives are a little bit too long, you're in trouble. Oh, have you seen? This isn't political, but the UK has different laws than the US. At one point in time, they had some proposed legislation about the length of knives. I don't know enough about it, but the rant that Ramsey Gordon did about it, because it would affect cooking knives too, as a professional chef, and he's like, who needs a knife bigger than whatever? And he just went off, and there was like Muppet was involved and other kinds of slurs that I won't repeat, but if you've watched Gordon Ramsay, well, you know how it is. It is hilarious if you can find a clip. I'm just saying.
ow.
He's known to put you between 2 pieces of bread and ask what you are. I'm an idiot sandwich.
I have heard that.
I watched one video where he did a thing about feeding the troops, and he went to some various British units, and he heard them like yelling at recruits, and he just looked at him and he goes, B-.
Ouch.
That was probably the highlight of that drill sergeant's day, though. Like, he's like, Gordon Ramsay gave me a B-.
I don't know. They put a different flair to it. I got dressed down by a British lieutenant once, and I have an Irish mother, so she used to tear me down a lot worse than him. Like, when I was going through basic, I was like, is this all you guys got, man? This is a Tuesday, growing up. Not once did I feel like my soul was getting extracted from my body or anything like that. So I was like,
Not from the verbal insults, because,
then they took me on a run. I wanted to die.
Yeah, that was what I
Mom
was
did
about
make
to say.
me
Because,
mad.
like, my mom was a Navy wife, and you can't survive being a military dependent and not have if the marriage actually lasts past the next duty station, the partner that stays home has generally got a spine of steel to put up with all the nonsense.
And a sharp tongue.
And a sharp tongue to deal with all the bureaucracy. So I'm just saying that, like, I already knew how to make hospital corners when I got to boot camp. Just going to put that out there. And it wasn't my dad that taught me. I'm just saying. Love you, Mom. And with that being said, because I don't think she listens, we're probably safe. Ish.
I'm snitching.
You would too. She likes you. That's not fair.
He loves
Snitches
me.
get stitches.
When she was when Stabby was having some health issues and she was going to a doctor, my mom was like, we're sending her some chili. Everybody needs chili when they're not feeling well. And I'm like, well, what if her not feeling well is like an upset stomach? Chili will clear her right out. I'm like, okay, Mom.
Oh yeah.
So we sent her. I
Turn it out of her.
had to cook it, but I canned some chili for her. And then my mom took all the credit because that's what moms do.
She also adopted me last week, so
She did. So, does this mean I'm getting kicked out of the nest? I might be in trouble now. Nick, I'm moving in with you.
All right, but I get the When you're looking at it, I get the right side of the bed.
Okay, all right, and then we'll go drill sergeant on your son. It'll be beautiful. We'll get our kicks off, relive our glory days, make people sweat till the PT till the wall sweat. It'll be great. It'll be glorious.
We'll just sit on the couch and probably watch dumb stuff.
We're like, I thought this was about me.
It is, and so I was about to transition, but your transition was funnier, so we'll go with that, and let's make it all about Teri. So Teri, we brought you here not in your capacity as an author who is about to launch, but in the audiobook narration that you do. So first, who is your favorite audiobook narrator other than yourself, of course?
Ooh, I listened to some really good ones as I was growing up. That was what got me through my day most of the time, was just having that Walkman in one pocket, a couple extra tapes in the other pocket. I'm going to have to say Jim Dale, though. He read he did a read of the Harry Potter books. And I've heard a little bit of the Stephen Fry version. Jim Dale did it way better. Way better.
The funny one I've seen or heard about, I haven't actually heard, is supposedly there's a version floating around where the first Harry Potter book was rewritten in a Scottish brogue and then narrated as such. I've heard rumors that it exists. I have yet to find it to see if it's true. It might be like the Holy Grail. We'll never really find it. It's out there in the ether.
But that's interesting enough to make you search for it, though.
Right, because I mean, I would probably laugh my ass off. I haven't even read any of the books or watched the movies, but I'd listen to that.
You've never seen a Harry Potter movie?
No.
Oh my Lord.
So she was writing when I was in college, doing college things, chasing girls as you do, and running from the cops because I was drinking underage. I mean, allegedly, mom. And then by the time I was
the link straight to your mom.
Yeah. By the time I got home from the army, like she had already said some not nice things, her and Stephen King, about the troops overseas. So I just never got over it. I can hold a grudge like a mofo. And at this point in time, there's so many other books I actually want to read that I'm like, I mean, I don't have anything again. I let the grudge go. I'm not a really good German. Like they're probably kicking me out of the Messerschmitt family tree, but what are you going to do?
No, I haven't seen anything in the newsletter. So you're probably good.
Oh, okay. I mean, I tried to get them just because of the family connection to give me like a plane or something, but they wouldn't do it. I feel like I'm entitled. I mean,
no, you're absolutely right, sir.
And you know what? You get a plane too if they give me one. I'll get you one. We'll just fly around,
nice.
Buzz a couple convoys. It'll be great. Fly by the tower. Wait. Do you want to be Maverick or Goose?
I want to be the gunner.
Okay, that works. I meant call signs, but gunner works.
Talk to me, Goose.
Ooh, you're talking call signs. Then I want to be Gunther.
All right, so Teri, if we get this plane in the air and we don't all die a fiery death, what's your call sign going to be?
Oh, I have no idea. I know what I do. It was a nickname I got in the theater department in college. Pterodactyl.
Ooh. Oh, that's badass.
Actually,
I was going to suggest
for a pilot. For a pilot,
oh yeah,
hell yeah. You might have to use that in a book you haven't written yet.
That's true. I've been working on something for one of the military sci-fi open calls on Three Ravens. That's a good idea.
I'm not saying I know a guy involved in that project, but I know a guy involved in that project. You talk to me. We'll make that happen.
Yeah, we're people that know some other people.
Right. All right. So that was your favorite.
Connections.
They're all in.
Nobody.
They're all in waste management.
Yeah.
But so that's your favorite. Do you remember what your first audiobook was? Like the first time you listened?
I think my first audiobook. Ooh. Well, my first audio I remember, it was the BBC radio production of, I want to say The Hobbit. It's either The Hobbit or The Lord of the Rings, but they did a full cast version of both of those with like music and sound effects and all those cool things. And it was amazing. So technically abridged, technically more of a play than anything, but that's the first one that I really remember getting cemented in there.
Okay. I like it. All right. So how did you kind of get involved in narrating? Because, as my understanding is you started trying to be an author and somehow you got roped into narrating. So how'd that happen?
So it's actually because of the pandemic. I had thought for many years that, audiobook narration would be fun because, over lunch when I was a kid, I'd read books to my dad, usually the Harry Potter books when I'm trying to imitate Jim Dale. And that was fun for me. But I always saw these things like, oh, you need to have a lot of money to set up a studio and all this and that and the other thing. So I was like, well, I'm poor. Oh, well. Then the pandemic happened and everything started moving to digital. And on a whim one day, I thought, you know what? I'm going to see if there's any online courses about audiobook narration. And lo and behold, there was. I started out through the Colorado Free University. They had some classes through there. And I am trying to remember the guy's name that ran that. He has unfortunately passed within the last few years. And his name is escaping me, so I'm going to not say that. But then he had his own studio that he did master classes in, and he invited me to come to those. So that was just kind of a week-to-week rolling session that we did, where we practiced and did different readings week to week. And he recommended setting up an account on ACX, which you record books, they get uploaded through that system, and then they're available on Audible. And that's how that's how Hillbilly found me, I should say.
So how did let's hear that story. How did you get hooked up with the Hillbilly?
So I was doing auditions for several different books at the time through ACX. You put things up and there's different readings and you can read them, record them, have your little take on it. And one of the books that I auditioned for was The Fae's Amulet by J.F. Posthumous. And so I read that. The character was this confident woman talking to another character, another man. And apparently, without having talked to Jen Posthumous ahead of time or anyone else about the characters, what they sounded like, I was pretty darn close to what the author had envisioned in her head.
And that was just from what you were reading?
Yep, that was just from the scene I was reading.
That's
cool. Yep, so that's how I nailed that. And going through the process of recording the chapters, having them listen to it, getting the book done, they just liked me so much that I've just narrated all of the Lady of Death books so far. And hopefully a couple more to come. Yes.
Now, did you always do because I notice inflections in voices when you talk. You like throwing them in their little, what I like to call conversation flavor. Did you always do that like as a kid? Oh yeah, it's yours. It's free to go. I always come up with good ideas. Other people are successful with them when I try to do it. So keep that one. That one's free. Be successful with it. I want if you start taking money for it, like you coined the phrase, I want 10 cents a word. Or
I'll kick a bit back to you. I got
back to the guy at Nicky No-No's on the docks over there to keep everything kosher. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I got you, man.
Yeah,
Picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah, exactly.
Your question, yes, I do.
Okay. Have you always done that? Is that something you've done since childhood, or is it?
I don't think I was as crazy with the voices and the accents when I was a kid, but when I did have free time, I would just go play outside, and I'd just be playing out these little stories that I was making up in my head and doing the different characters and whatnot. And it was sometimes silly, sometimes overly dramatic. But that just never really stopped. And I, all, creative people, I talk to myself quite frequently. And sometimes I answer back. And sometimes I answer back in voices. It just makes sense. I'm not saying I do it well. I just do it. Sometimes to the point of annoying my husband. But it's fun for me. It gives it's flavor. It's conversation flavor, exactly what you said.
Conversation flavor, yeah. And it goes well with your narrations too, because that gives you a lot of opportunities to do that. And cut and play with voices too. Which I think would be fun, because I'm this close to Seth Rogen. Not Seth Rogen. What's the other Rogen's name?
Joe Rogan?
No, it is Seth Rogen. Okay. No. Okay. Seth Rogen. I don't want to do Joe Rogan. It's got a real basic voice. But Seth Rogen, the laugh and all that. I'm close to that. I got Christopher
Nice.
Walken about 80%.
I don't think I could do
Yeah,
Christopher Walken.
This is just a little way to remind you that every time you buy one of Teri K. Jobe's audiobooks, you are helping fund her husband's therapy for all the annoyances she just mentioned. So you're actually doing the world a favor when you buy her audiobooks.
I think it'd be hilarious if when he remembers those conversations, those voices are still in there. A little Inception action.
That's entirely possible.
Like if when you send him a text, he's reading it. He's reading it in some of those voices, like, "Oh, yes, bring home some milk."
Oh yes, I can do that.
Like that.
Do you do that?
Yeah, I hear your voice when I read your text message.
Like
and then when there's like a lot of exclamations, I'm like,
well, that's the George Costanza voice, which has like explanation points.
But I hear
the killing independent George. Roger colliding Jerry.
Are we gonna do like an accent voice off?
Ooh, I don't know, man.
Well, we can certainly try.
Yes, I mean, she's a lovely guest in front of the show, so it'd be very great to have an accent off. This is the time when Sprockets Fairy dance.
Oh dear, I think you are going to beat me in the German. I think because I'm not as practiced in it as I think. It sounds like you are. I think you might have that one.
I don't know. Yours is pretty close.
I was trying to listen very hard to you there for about 5 seconds.
That's a tough.
All right, Colonel Clank.
I know nothing.
I know nothing.
He makes our German Shepherd and our Boston Terrier have conversations.
Okay, so the Boston Terrier, because I found him in South Texas, I gave him the voice of Antonio Banderas because it's a huge Hispanic population, and I know the previous because the dog's bilingual. I tried to tell it to stop and come here in English, didn't work. I did it in Spanish, and he's like, "Oh, okay, I know what that means." And I'm like, "Oh, yes. I am Domino. Did I thank you? I will not." And then
yes, you have to find the way to talk to the dog. Nope, that just sounds bad to my own ears.
You got the way to talk to the dog. It's mucho bueno. And then the German Shepherd, I don't even know what the voice is for her. Did I ever come up with one?
You always do the German one.
Oh, yeah. I do the Fraulein voice. Father, the kibble is not as, I'd imagine, as good as it would be. Could I possibly have the milk bone? Just eins, just a little milk bone to satisfy my cravings.
I don't know how we segue from that, so I'm just going to air the commercial. And I don't know if anyone wants their name associated with that, so I'm sponsoring this episode. You're welcome, people. Let's roll that beautiful bean footage.
Across 1,000 battlefields and 1,000,000 wars, there is always a question. What do you do when all the chips are on the table? Do you run? Try to find salvation in the arms of an easy peace? Or do you stand and fight and send your enemies into whatever hole they crawled out of? On Deadly Ground, a heroic Last Stand anthology, has 10 stories addressing that question. Each character faces the impossible in different ways, but all will be tested before the day is done. Can they earn a heroic victory amongst the endless eternity of space, or are they doomed to fall into obscurity?
I'm not saying that was a good story I wrote for that anthology, but we made 3 editors cry because it was so emotional. I'm going to take that.
Ooh. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Anytime you can make the editor cry?
Hell yeah. I mean, it could have just been our grammar, but I'd like to think it was because I was just that skilled.
I've had 2 comic book scripts come across my desk of characters that I created, and they took it in a way I wasn't really seeing it. And I think that was just because it was a touch of a female author, so she was putting that emotion in there. One, I cried on both of them, and I'm like, "Girl, you made me cry. You're fired." No, I'm just kidding. But
so
yeah, when you can make the editor cry, yeah, you did it.
I co-wrote that story. His heroic last stands was the theme. I co-wrote that story with, I can't remember. Christopher Denote's wife, Jamie Liska. I think Liska McCabe is what she publishes under. There we go. She's trying to separate because she writes several genres. Got the cold coming on, but because of that, she wanted a separate one for what we're doing. And so, it's about a mother defending her colony as the rear guard action so her kids could get away and all the other kids, obviously. And so, having an actual mom help write that scene adds that just a little bit of extra something. So, but if it was the good parts, I'm still claiming it. I don't care. It's all mine. She could do the same thing when I'm not listening. She can claim all the good stuff too.
All the good stuff, all the thrilling heroics.
If we're ever in the same room together and that happens, I guess we'll have to arm wrestle or something.
No, you guys, you have a cry off.
Oh, there we go. A cry off. We go all Mean Girls, Feral or something.
Snitching.
I'm snitching.
You're all in a snitchy mood. Snitches get stitches. I'm just saying.
I think after this episode, she's gonna be Madam Snitchy Snitch.
Yeah. Oh, she gave him the look. All right. So
I need 3 more of these so I don't feel it.
So you mentioned you started narrating like professionally during the pandemic, and that kind of got you started. But you also want to be a writer. Is the narrating something you think you want to keep doing, even though you're writing?
Oh, absolutely. I'm having a lot of fun with it, especially in the worlds that JF Posthumous comes up with. They're fun, they're dynamic. There's a lot of opportunity for me to put really weird voices in there, which is what I love doing. And like I said, baby author, I have things submitted. I do have 1 novel on contract. It's in the never-ending editing pile. It's in there, though. And Hillbilly has asked me if I plan on narrating my own book, to which I have said yes.
Absolutely.
And then in my head realized,
your own book better.
Oh yeah, duh. I mean, like Stephen King he's not known as a voice actor, but I love listening to him narrate his own books.
Well,
because it's from
he writes creepy shit.
Yes, he does.
And he does creepy voices. Like his natural voice is just like, ugh.
That's true. It fits his genre, though. At least I think so.
It's his shtick. I like it.
And I'm trying to remember. I think my favorite that he narrated, and my favorite Stephen King book was Bag of Bones. Just with the music and the way his voice sounds doing that and that story. Oh, that was another of my go-tos.
So, we're not here to talk about Stephen King. Screw that guy. He said not nice things about us while we were overseas too. And I hear he can't stick a landing. I don't actually know that because I don't read horror. So, I'm just, talking out of my ass.
I read The Dark Tower. Can confirm. No offense,
Okay.
Mr. King.
So his ending sucked, just like the character in It. And that's why he put that in there.
I haven't read
He
It,
literally
to be
makes that
honest.
joke about himself.
Huh?
He literally makes that joke about himself.
Yeah.
In the movie.
Yeah, he said that. He made, I can't remember the character's name. It doesn't matter. But the character that becomes a writer.
It's Georgie's brother.
Yeah, but I'm not calling him Georgie's brother.
It's Georgie's brother.
All right, we'll go with Georgie's brother. But anyway, that I read like the insider stuff on it because I'm a huge IMDb fan of Internet Movie Database. Like, if the movie's really interesting, I'm like, I got to know more about this. So I got one ear listening to the movie, and then like one eye watching the movie, and the other eye is like reading IMDb about the trivia, and that was in there. He's like, yeah, he put that in the book, and it also got in the movie. That the endings sucked because he got a lot of criticism in his earlier books that they didn't like the endings. Like, book was good, ending not so much.
Didn't care for the ending. Same as Billy.
Didn't care for Billy.
So
didn't care for the ending.
Again,
Go ahead.
Not here to talk about him. We're here to talk about a cooler person, Miss Teri K. So
yeah,
I just made the two names like one, so you can pretend like I don't know you're from the South somewhere. I don't know.
My family. That's what my family actually called me. Not my parents, but my aunt on my dad's side. I was always Teri K.
But yeah. So, what's your favorite genre to narrate?
Well, so far I've only done urban fantasy, heavy on the fantasy. So I'm going to say that because there's still those elements of getting weird with the voices, but you have a lot of normal ones too. So it's a good mix.
Have you ever thought about doing like voice acting for like animation and stuff like that? Do you think that's something that you see yourself doing in the future?
I would certainly love to. Breaking into that from what I've heard and read is a lot harder. then getting into audiobook narration. Just about everybody and their brother can do audiobook narration. Just about. I've heard a few not so great ones.
Oh yeah.
Animation is more difficult, and a lot of that, again, from what I've read and heard, is based in California, which is harder to get to, or New York, which I
Also
can afford
harder
to
to
live
leave.
there.
I live here. I live here. It's hard to
Touché,
leave
sir.
too.
Touché.
Once you're in, you're trapped. It's like glue.
Got it. Good to know. But if that window of opportunity ever opened, oh hell yes, I'd go for that. At least to try it.
Okay. Is there any author who you aren't narrating for? Because it sounds like right now you're just doing the stuff for JF, and she writes wicked quick. Oh, hold on. Let me do the Boston accent. Wicked quick. Okay, that's not Boston. I don't know what the hell that was, but all right, Nick,
close
do
enough.
Boston real quick. Do Boston for me.
Oh my God. No, that's my girl though. She's wicked quick.
There you go. So what I'm
Wow.
hearing from both of you is that you don't have to worry about me taking your job anytime soon.
No, I think she's safe from you, JR.
I think so. So, is there any like author you'd like to narrate or genres you'd like to narrate? In the future.
Maybe just getting into straight fantasy could be fun. Of course, there are some fantastic authors out there. But one doesn't really come to mind. Like you have the big names like Christopher Paolini in the Inheritance universe. That'd be fun to read. He already has a narrator. I think he's doing it himself. I don't remember. So not really a particular author, but something along those lines, real fantasy, or even just trying a nonfiction. Because that you still have to have the variation in tone that you do with fantasy, but it's not as overt all the time. It's not switching from description into character voice and dialogue, but you still have to make it engaging, which I know because we did some of that in those classes I was in. So it's a very different feel, but I've never landed one of those.
That'd be interesting, because I've never really listened to any of your narrations. Just having conversations with you, you have a pretty identifiable cadence in how you say things and talk and conversate. So I figure it's probably pretty close to that in the books and how you're able to control that, tone, pitch, cadence, things like that. I don't know where I was going with that. It's just real interesting. So yeah, a nonfiction book would be really weird. It'd be more interesting than like
than a monotone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Peanuts teacher voice from yeah.
Are there any job type opportunities you turn down? Anything you wouldn't want to do? Genres, that kind of thing?
Probably not. Even erotica, I would try that once. Just
there we
to
go.
see.
There it is.
But how do you not giggle at some of those poorly written scenes?
Well, you just have to read it first a few times, as long as it takes. Say it out loud a few times and then go for it.
So what is your process when you get the book to getting it to the final product?
So the first thing I do once I get the book is I read it. And usually I'm going through with a pencil in hand. Like I'll print it out and make notes on what characters are in there, especially if it's like a second or third book in a series like Lady of Death is. The first book, that was establishing what some of these base characters sound like. So as I'm going into the next one, I'm writing down, okay, this is a returning person. This is a new person. Note that. I'll make notes on really weird place names or character names. And then once I go through the whole book, making all those notes, I'll have a conversation with the author and go, okay, so I have these really weird words. How the heck do I say these? And I'll also talk to them about what certain characters sound like. In a lot of those conversations, several of the characters in the Lady of Death universe are based on characters from the show Leverage, which I've never seen. So I have to go to YouTube and watch clips. But I do that, and then I get kind of a sense for what the voice is, and then I can just kind of go from there. There's a couple that I've had to kind of make up a little bit. There was one character that the posthumous told me, "Oh, it kind of sounds like Nicole Kidman talking down to you." So like, okay, like in her native accent. I believe she's Australian.
Australian, yeah.
Yep. So I listened to an interview with her from some show or other. I was like, okay, and I never nailed Australian. I cannot do an Australian accent. And so what I did is I just gave her a weird cadence that is different from a lot of the other characters. A little imperious. So it's like, and that worked.
Yeah.
And then every now and again, they will just give me permission to have fun.
So do you find yourself like clipping parts of the book, like this is this person speaking, so you have like an audio memory bank of the various characters that are going to be repeating?
Most definitely. I didn't do that initially and regretted it on the second book. Because then I had to go back through what I'd already recorded in the first one and go, what did this person sound like again? Dang it. And so now I try to keep an audio file as I go through the chapters that these characters appear in. And just getting kind of a baseline for what they sound like, some iconic lines from that particular book that I can go back later and go, oh, okay, yep, that's it. Nah. Like listening to Nick a few seconds ago with the German accent. I listened and I imitated and got lucky.
I'm horrible when I meet people that are from different parts of the world. And I apologize in advance to them too. I'm like, hey, listen, I'm kind of a mimic. I like to do voices. I'm going to hear your accent and it's going to get stuck in my head. So I'm not making fun of you. I swear to God, I like your accent and I'm trying to use it for something else later. It's getting stored in my memory.
I used to be able to just, without even thinking about it, naturally sound like whoever I was with the accents. Except for when I was in Philly in the Wooter Ice. I did that. I never got that right. They always looked at me funny. And I thought the word was funny, so I just never did it. But like, I never meant to do it. So I can sympathize. I don't know that I necessarily have my own accent other than the neutral one.
Me and Caden were actually talking about that the other day. I was scrolling through TikTok and I came across this Southern Baptist country singer telling true crime. And the longer I sat there listening to her telling the stories, the more I was yelling at my dog, get your little ass inside. And Caden,
come on back inside now, you hear?
And Caden looks at me and he goes, where did that come from? I was like, okay, so being raised in Vegas, we're a melting pot. We don't actually have our own sound at all.
Can you do the melting pot one more time? That little dance? Do a little dance. Okay.
Michael Love, get down to that.
I didn't know how long we would get to the point where it would like copyright violations, so I kind of stopped myself.
I think it's over 30 seconds.
Well, then you have to actually be on tune enough that the auto thingy catches it. So I think we're probably good.
Oh, I've never had a problem with that, sir. I do declare I am in no violation of their copyright infringement.
Leave me alone long enough and I might.
Fair. All right.
Law don't go around here, law dog. Law just don't go around here.
So there's basically nothing you don't want to try. Are there any?
I got a question, Jared. Like, we've talked about her favorite genre to narrate. What is your, and hopefully this doesn't get you in trouble with other jobs, but what is your least favorite? What genre do you think you feel has the most difficulty to it, that you're just like, oh man, this is going to be a stretch?
You mean like to narrate?
Yeah, to narrate.
To narrate. Again, I don't really know, since a lot of my experience in doing full books has only been urban fantasy. I've done bits and snippets of other ones. I didn't, you know what? I actually probably like Christian fiction or Christian stories. There's really wholesome, or things like The Notebook. And like, I don't want to read that. I don't want to read that for my own pleasure time.
It's not
I'm gonna
that simple. What do you want? You know.
If I want that, I'm going to go read Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, give me something
There's
juicy that I
romance in
can
it.
sink my teeth into. So, for the sheer boredom factor and a little bit too much of wholesomeness, probably something along those lines.
Okay. So you would have no problem doing like a true crime detective type
You
genre
know,
thing?
I'm trying to do noir now. I could
Yeah.
probably get into that noir type genre if that was William Shatner. What was that?
Like with the hey, they all
William
show up
Shatner
at one
does
point.
noir. Oh boy.
William Shatner and 3-inch
I
heels.
what?
What have I done?
I'm gonna
Uh-oh.
need a really
It's okay.
hard bristle brush to scrub that out of my curtains.
I need
Oh, these heels
You're
are
welcome.
so slimming on me.
So
that
let's
was
get
going-
back on track. So
Yes.
you mentioned that you'll do a
Yeah,
little bit of anything genre wise because you enjoy all the things. Are there any books specifically that you wouldn't do? I know some would say he's going to get a refill and doesn't want you to see that he's not wearing any pants, people.
Pants
but
are overrated.
I know some male authors don't like a book where the main character is female and vice versa because they don't feel like they can do it justice. Are there any books where you think, okay, I'm not really a fit for this one?
Not that I've encountered so far. I've done a couple for Posthumous. The Lady of Death, the lead character is female, and everything's kind of in her voice. She's not talking all the time, but it's her thoughts that are going through. Another one, the Nightshade. Nightshade? Uh-oh. Oh, I hope Jen's not listening to this one.
We'll tell her to skip this one. That'll totally not raise her suspicions.
Yeah, totally not. Taking the Night. There we go. Reading Taking the Night, once again, the lead character is female, but 95% of the other characters are male. And there's one character in there that, not giving away two spoilers, but I had to find different voices for. And so finding that male voice that I could have a similar thread going through several different voices was challenging.
Wow.
And then JF Posthumous started throwing other phrases in other languages in there. And I'm like, now I have to do research. But I've never been, using your specific example, turned off by, there's a lot of male voices in there. Nah, my voice is a little bit deeper naturally as a female. So I kind of have that good balance. I can go way up here and do a lot of female stuff, or I can come down a little lower and do stuff here. So that hasn't scared me off. I can't think of anything that would really scare me off from a book besides what we just talked about, boredom.
Boredom. Yeah, boredom is a killer of innovation and creativity.
Oh yeah, you have to enjoy what you're reading. If you're not enjoying it, that's going to come across in your narration, and the audience isn't going to enjoy it.
Or as we say, sometimes, I don't know how I'm going to polish this turd, man.
They actually did that on Mythbusters.
Yeah, polish it. Oh my Lord.
They really did it.
I'm not surprised.
Was it the redhead with the shotgun?
I think both him and the guy with the beret tried it. Like, it was an experiment, and they both used different methods. Yeah.
No, I was actually thinking the female redhead. I guess she had a stalker, so she started posing pictures with her sniper rifle. And she's like, "I'm just saying, I'm ready when you are." And that was her capture she was putting on her social medias for a while.
Missed that.
I mean,
I didn't follow them on social media, so that's probably.
I heard about it after the fact, so I don't even know if it's urban legend or real, but I kind of want it to be real because that's kind of badass. And
she was badass.
Yeah, she did some things. I'm like, there's no way that little tiny lady's gonna do. Oh, she did. Okay. They got a couple of them where she escaped the. Yeah, they got it where people were escaping out of submerged cars underwater and all that cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
She was very adventurous, but then she got pregnant.
Yeah, I know. She went and had to ruin the show and get a real life. I don't know what that's about.
No, it just slowed her down a little bit.
Yeah, we need to get a reason to go try to blow things up for fun. I mean, for research purposes. You think we could make this quasi Mythbusters? We made it up right now as an excuse to blow shit up.
Well, we can't use Jackass. That's already taken. So, Carrie Byron was her name, by the way.
Terry,
that's
you
it.
can come when we blow stuff up. You can join us for
We
research.
can call it.
Dumbass.
I guess we can call it dumbass. Yeah, thanks, honey.
I've been called that a time or two.
Hi, I'm this is Jerry Handley and Nick Garber, and welcome to Dumbass. give me like a week. I'll come up with something clever.
There you go.
Oh, what
All
you
right,
could,
let's
what you could
let's
do.
get back. So
Yeah.
once you record it, do you actually do the post-production or do you send that out?
I do a lot of the post myself. So that's taking the time to actually go back and listen to what I just recorded, making sure that there's a long enough pause at between the end of a sentence and the beginning of the next one. I have a tendency to rush sometimes, so that's something I really have to be cognizant of. Taking out mouth clicks, which I never heard until I started recording audiobooks. Now I hear mouth clicks all the time. It drives me cuckoo. So doing those things, making sure the volume's at the right level, things are relatively balanced. I think the ACX system does the final mastering, if I recall how that system works correctly. But a lot of that other work I do myself because there are certain volume levels and other specifications that you have to meet for ACX to even accept the audio file. They're quite picky, which is a good thing.
Okay. That's always a plus that you can do a lot of it yourself.
Mhm.
Now, do you guys sell the only on Audible, or do you take your audiobooks wide and sell them on, like, I don't know, through Raven's website?
So far as I know, it's just through Audible.
Okay.
I have a question about the process, though.
Mhm.
Something I've always wondered about because a lot of times I'm busy and that's my only option is audiobooks if I want to like actually read something or listen to something. Trying to figure a way to phrase this. How many pages do you read in like a single take? Like, is it one page at a time or like, because when you listen to them, it's seamless. So I'm just like wondering if like you read a chapter and then, or you just keep going. Like explain that part to me. I'm curious about
Yeah.
that.
Everyone's process is a little bit different. Still being relatively new to this, I'm a little pickier. I stop far more frequently. When I really first started, I was stopping at almost the end of every sentence.
Oh, okay.
And going through and just, does that sound good? Okay, next one. Have been trying to keep it to a paragraph at a time
that
at this
often.
point. Yeah, that way, for me, it's easier to listen to that small section. And then if, there was a bump somewhere in the house, I can hear that and go, oh, I need to do that line again because the cats are thundering down the hallway. Yes, one of my cats thunders down the hallway. I'm not making that up.
No, I believe it. Felines are awesome that way.
Oh, yes, they are. He's lucky he's cute. But
That's what saves them.
yes, it does. But that means that I don't have to go back, much later when my voice may have, gotten tired over the course of a session, or it's a different day before I catch something and I have to re-record and now it sounds different because, there's something in the air that's different. It's right then
Yeah.
when I'm actually recording. Because even in some professional things you hear these days, what was I watching the other day? No, I was playing a video game. And you can hear the difference in recording in a single interaction with an NPC. And it's like, oh, they recorded that at a different time than they recorded the rest of these lines.
Wow.
Some people will go for a page, some people will go for a chapter or two before they stop and go back and listen to everything. I personally have a lot of trouble with mouth clicks and mouth noise. And so for me, stopping more frequently, that lets me know, oh, okay, I need to drink a little bit more water or Gatorade. Blue Gatorade works better for me. I don't know why.
I'm a big
And
fan of
also,
blue.
so just, yeah. Yeah, everyone's different. I've heard the green apple trick. That doesn't work for me. There's a lot of stories out there. Blue Gatorade is what I've found.
I buy it in the powder. So, like, I got a gallon jug every day. I'm filling that thing up before I go to bed. So I don't, because if I drink it just like the way I made it, it could get like mucusy, and I'll wake up in the middle of the night. So I'll cut it with water. So I just have that little taste. It seems a little bit cooler and refreshing. You know, I'll be like, oh, this is so good. My body is loving this. I'm dehydrated like a houseplant. You know, Blue Gatorade. If they do make the powder in a cucumber, though, I'm definitely going to try that. Because I don't know if you ever had cucumber lime Gatorade.
No.
It is a treat. It's Gatorade from the gods. Like the first time I drank it on a hot summer day, I'm like, I've seen the face of God and I love him. Or her.
Well, now I'm going to have to go look for that.
Oh, yeah. Usually in a convenience store, in the chilled section. I don't know if they have 7-Elevens over there. They might. Probably did. It's like a national chain, right? 7-Eleven. I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to think of all the times I've been to Colorado Springs, and now I can't think of seeing a 7-Eleven. I've seen it come and go. Oh, I've seen a lot of those, yes.
There's so many jokes I
can make. A convenience store, people.
I'm just going to let that go, and we're going to move on, and I'm not going to make any jokes about his Ranger panties.
They're delightful. I'll wear them one episode. I'll wear a dancer's belt with them, though. I'm not trying to show them the whole bags. You know what I'm saying?
You had a question for
her. That was the question. How often does she take breaks while she's recording? That was my question.
There was another one, but I mean, if you're thinking about you know what? I'm not going to go there.
Well, no, I'm
lost
my Ranger panties.
So, do you draw inspiration from people you know in real life when it comes to like accents and personification of characters?
Sometimes. I haven't used it a lot so far, mostly because of the conversations I've had with JF Posthumous and what her vision is for what these characters sound like. But there's a little bit of, at least myself, in one of the characters in Taking the Night. That was that one that has a lot of different voices. That's probably as close to my actual speech pattern in normal conversation that I've used so far. But yeah, I have thought about other people occasionally. There's flavors of it in there, but not, I haven't yet fully taken someone I know and go, okay, this is what this person sounds like. They sound like my friend who lives over there. Yet.
Okay. So speaking of persons that aren't there, how do you decide how to give accents to like aliens or mythical creatures when you're doing fantasy? Like things that don't have a human analog that you can just readily say. Like if I say someone's from, I don't know, Creole, Louisiana, you know what they sound like. But if I say someone was a viper from the pit of hell, well, what does that sound like? How do you determine that when you narrate?
Viper from the pit of hell.
To be honest, a lot of times I just fall back on a version of Scratchy
or something along those lines.
Or maybe something along like that.
Just throwing out ideas. And so sometimes what I'll do is I'll imitate. It annoys my husband no end. Like watching a anime, especially if someone says a good line, I was like, I'm going to get in there and try to say it too. Just to try to work on new things. It has been a while since I've done my last audiobook, but when I'm really getting into it, I sometimes start experimenting with mouth shape and where my tongue is. I sound a lot different with my tongue pushed forward than I do with my tongue being pulled back, or making my lips more round as opposed to smiling a lot. There's so much you can do that has nothing to do with pitch. And it's fascinating. So it's just playing around sometimes and just seeing what weird things I can do. And yeah. This is fun. I get to play.
So the only thing how do you not have your voice hate you? Do you have any like pre and post book rituals that you do? I know sometimes singers gargle salt water. If you had to do that every day of your career, that just sounds miserable.
I do try to drink a lot of water during the day
Not
um,
Seems like it would be
when I know I'm
pee.
recording.
not wooter. No wooter.
Water. Water.
Or-
I haven't found a specific ritual that's like pre and post besides blue Gatorade and gum. Maybe a little extra blue Gatorade at the end of it. And I have some established rules, at least for myself, that I 99% of the time stick to. And that's not doing voices that I know are going to blow my voice out and I'll be done for the night. You know, if it's a long chapter, I'll still be tired by the end of it and I'll end up reverting to stopping every sentence to redo things. And even with voices, there was one time that I specifically broke that don't do a voice that knocks my voice out rule. And I talked to Jen ahead of time and made sure that was not going to be a character coming back that would have like a chapter monologue later because that just wouldn't work. But it was a demon. And they have a human form, but at one point they go full demon form. And I'm like, I want to do something spectacular for that. And so for that particular chapter, what I did is I went through, recorded the scene, and I did that demon's lines just normal. I didn't do any inflection with it. But then afterward, I went back
And I put in what he was supposed to be.
and then just copy and pasted those into where that dialogue was supposed to be. And that was the last thing I did for the night. And I was done. There was no other recording happening.
Yeah.
So it's just being careful with the voice selection, making sure that it's something I can sustain for a period of time.
I figured that'd be pretty important.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Especially
Very
with
much
that
so.
voice, because that seems like that would just strain your larynx hard.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
It does. Even a couple lines like that is difficult, which is why I made sure that wasn't going to come back.
All demons should sound like Tim Curry from Legend. That's just my opinion. That'll save your voice.
Yes.
Drink or eat. You know.
Tim Curry is just a legend.
In everything he does, huge fan. Hashtag Tim Curry's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Actually, he did one of my favorite audiobooks as well.
Did he?
He narrated some of the books of the series of unfortunate events.
Oh yeah, those are great books.
He didn't do all of them, but he did some of them, and his were spectacular.
He's just got one of those great voices. He's done a lot of voice acting too. He's a phenomenal actor. He's a legend in his craft. So I just can't. I can't. Like every time I'm doing a voice, I'm like, would Tim Curry approve? Probably not. You suck. And I'm like, all right. Why are you talking to yourself, Nick? I don't know. Just Tim Curry hates me. Well, the Tim Curry in my brain. I'm really hyping it up.
Yeah, on that happy note, I don't really know how you recover from that tailspin, but
I drink copious amounts of bourbon, and then apparently he approves. So I don't know. Maybe it's a British thing.
There we go.
So, do you plan on doing any of the copious? I like that word today. It's my word of the day on the calendar of the anthologies that Three Ravens is putting out. Are you gonna be doing the narrating for those? Any of them?
Well, if Hillbilly asks me to, I certainly would not turn it down.
Hashtag Hillbilly should ask.
Hashtag Hey Hillbilly.
Hey, yeah. Heyo.
Hey.
All right. So on that note,
Frog here. Nope.
Hey, Kermit the Frog here, asking Hillbilly to put my friend Teri on more audiobooks.
I don't. Now you got to do Fraggle Rock because you did Kermit.
What?
Kermit the Frog.
You got to do Fraggle Rock.
You know what? I never actually watched Fraggle Rock as a kid.
I grew up with it. I couldn't give you a voice. I couldn't give you a voice from Fraggle Rock, and I grew up.
Let's see. I know I've seen some of the intro. Throw your cares away. Worries for another day. Da 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 da. Down in Fraggle Rock.
That's brilliant. Was it good to go?
All right. Well, with that note, is there anything we didn't ask that you want to tell us about the wild world of Teri K. Jobe narrations of audiobooks?
Can I tell you my favorite thing that has ever happened with narrating some of these books?
Sure.
The floor is yours, madam.
My favorite thing that ever happened is one of the voices that Posthumous gave me permission to have fun. She now hears my voice in her head when she writes for that character.
Nice. That's the ultimate Uno reverse card right there.
Yes, that is the ultimate power, and I am quite pleased about it. I'll brag about that to the end of time.
Oh my god, we got to stop doing voices. I'm gonna get on a kick. I'm not gonna talk my normal voice for like the next 4 days.
Sorry, Stabby. Hide.
I could probably break it by doing my Stephen Hawking, but it feels inappropriate still.
Ooh, too soon.
But maybe she will forgive me at a later episode.
All right. On that happy note, Teri, how can listeners and viewers and audiobook connoisseurs of all ages, shapes, and sizes find you on the wild, wild interwebs?
Help us find you.
I am findable, usually. Most frequently, I'm on Facebook. I do have a fledgling website. Again, hopefully it's not going to fall out of the nest and make a crater. Also occasionally on Instagram, sharing some of the memes that I've found from J.R. Handley, and occasionally cat pictures.
The purveyor of black market memes.
I do. I stare all the good ones. I steal them all. I mean, I liberate them.
I get them on the Instagram. I get them on the Twitters. I get tagged in some of them. I definitely get them in the chat on Facebook.
I'm just saying memes are my love language.
It's just...
There's nights where we're going, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep.
So I can't resist the memes, man. Then I'm
so the other thing is, everyone who thinks some of the memes I share are scandalous, you don't see the ones I send Nick that I don't share because they're even more scandalous.
He says, like, should I post this? And I'm like, abso-freaking no. Don't.
Well, normally he
and
says
if you do,
no.
don't tag me in it, man. I'm trying to stay under the radar here.
So normally he says yes, and Stabby's like, no, neither one of you. No, stop, both of you boys. No. That's how it really goes.
There's times where I get like reels, and he's like, "How about this?" And I'm like, "Have you lost your mind?
Have you lost your cat and picking mind, yeah? You don't want to. We provide clean memes here."
I'll tell you the last one.
See, it's not going to stop.
We're not live because I'm trying.
No, we're live.
Fit for work. That's what I just said.
Oh, okay. Yeah, don't say that.
She doesn't want that on the air. She doesn't want to rock our juju magic.
We'll wait till we go back to the green room and conversate.
Yeah, with the booze. And I promise I'll do some dancing for you. Do a little dance. Okay. No. Take that mental image out of your mind, dear listener. I promise I wasn't doing it.
Wrap it up.
With that being said, we will have all of your links in the show notes. I'm hoping by the time this episode goes live around the Christmas season that she has a website set up on, or not a website, what is it? Author site over on Amazon and an Audible site as either a narrator. Does Audible let you have a narrator site, or is it just for the authors?
I'll have to look.
We're hoping she'll have all the things set up. And with Christmas coming, as you listen to this episode, we want you to know that Teri J would appreciate it if you give the gift of love. And by that, she means buy her books and give it away. Buy one for your mom, your sister, your aunt, your uncle. Buy all the books, dozens of copies, give them all away, and then one for yourself, because why not?
Yeah, why not?
And they can... Oh, hold on. What are you writing right now?
Ooh. Well, at the moment, I'm putting some of the finishing touches on a certain sci-fi military pew-pew situation.
Ooh, I love the pew-pew. Go on.
Pew-pew.
So I had a interesting conversation with Hillbilly, and he gave me the challenge, because I'm the guy that always pushes the outer limits of short stories. You tell me I can go 10,000 words, I'm going 10,001 just out of spite. I mean, I probably go way past one, but at a minimum, it's 10,001. He's like,
so much spite.
He's like, JR, why don't you try to write the 5,000? See if you can hit the bottom limit, just barely enough to squeak by. And I'm like, all right, game on.
Not fun at all.
J.R. Handley always exceeds the standard.
Oh my.
Oh, it's very Sulu. I love it.
Oh,
Oh,
I
my.
approve. I approve. All right, before we let you go, dear listener, dear viewer, I would like to remind you to please be kind and speak your mind on the reviewing platforms. Your reviews help the right readers find the right books and the right listeners find the right audiobooks. So do your part, people. It really does help. It's a symbiotic relationship between author, narrator, and consumer of the products. And you got to carry the stones up the hill with us, or you won't have the entertainment when you get to the campfire.
Allah al-Shabab.
I
Allah
live with the
al-Shabab.
entertainment for the
That's me
campfire.
doing the prayer.
Oh, well, I mean, I was going to do some dancing, but people vetoed that one real quick in an hurry, like. So,
It's horrible.
Yeah,
You should know. You
I need
need
to get
copious
one
amounts of
of those
booze to
no
dance well.
buttons.
The what?
I need to get one of those no buttons.
Oh, the buzzer?
Teri, there are times where Nick tells me he regrets saving my life in Iraq, but he's stuck with me now.
I'm joking when I say that.
I know. All right,
Half
you
joking.
can Ish, and Ish is doing a lot of the heavy lifting.
Ish.
So
You
you
can
can
find
find us
us
on
in our
our.
link tree.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to do that if you don't interrupt, Stab. You can find us on our link tree at linktr.ee. Again, linktr.ee. There's a hole in that link tree because Stabby stabbed it. Linktree/Blasters and Blades podcast. Again, Linktree/Blasters and Blades podcast, where we link to all the things: the bitch shoots, the rumbles, the Twitters, the email for the business, the Blasters and Blades Facebook group and Facebook page, and most importantly, we link to Madam Stabby Stab on the Instagram, the Twitter, and the email, where all the hate mail can be directed. And if Nick offended you tonight, send 2 hate mail letters just because. Why not?
I need to make somebody cry this week.
Yeah,
Make me
you
cry.
haven't hit your quota.
Make me cry.
And he actually drinks the Author's Tears whiskey, and so he actually needs the tears from someone who's writing something so he can.
Give me your tears, author, or I will take them from you.
Yes. You can find us on our website at anchor.fm/blasterstack-blades. Again, anchor.fm/blasterstack-blades, where for as little as 99 cents a month, you can help keep the lights on. These episodes aren't free to produce, and every penny helps. Or you can support the show more directly at buymeacoffee.com/author J.R. Handley. Again, buymeacoffee.com/author J.R. Handley. I've never been self-conscious about my voice until the day when I had interviewed a bunch of audiobook narrators, and then it's like, I sound weird. I don't know what's going on. But
I like that.
when you donate to the Buy Me a Coffee, be sure to put in the podcast in the comments is for the podcast, and I promise I will keep my co-hosts duly caffeinated. They will drink some coffee brand coffee until Jeremy at the Quartering goes out of business because we bought all of his stuff. How about them apples? With that being said, coffee is good. And links in the show notes. And in case you didn't remember from the beginning of the show, Podcast Grunts get you 10% off. And it's an American copy for the coffee brand that's not a drop shipper. They're baking it, roasting it, and shipping it all from the U.S. So if you're American and that matters to you, you know it didn't come from overseas.
Coffee shows up in 3 and 5 days, man. You can't beat it.
It was 6 days for me, but I'm shipping from the other end of the country from where they are, so that's still not bad. And that was our holiday weekend too when they shipped the first batch.
Oh, they were crazy busy, man.
Yeah.
Crazy busy.
And so the coffee is good. All jokes aside, we really like it. We wouldn't shill it if it wasn't good. And at this point,
I think it's better than
everyone's using our discount code, so help us out, people.
It's better than Dunkin'.
I don't.
No, I'll stand to that.
That's for us. So,
I drank
but
a whole
Dunkin',
pot.
I know back in the day
Dunkin' sponsor the show.
when Dunkin' used to actually like make their own donuts, there was nothing. The fresh donut and a fresh pot of Dunkin' coffee, you couldn't beat that. Now everything's like made regionally and shipped, and it's stale by the time you get there.
Breakfast sandwiches are still okay.
Yeah, I mean, but it's sad when 7-Eleven has better donuts than the donut store.
Oh yeah, they got the Homer donut at 7-Eleven.
Hell yeah, they do. I mean, my belly says, what? This is why I'm not skinny yet.
That's why you go to the big box.
Forbidden donut.
Now,
Yeah.
homie.
Can you do a Marge accent before we I tell
She
everyone
just
goodbye?
did.
That was the first time I've tried. It actually turned out rather well. I'm surprised.
Nope,
Okay,
nope, it's
what?
devolving. Nope.
All right, people, if there's any accent you want to hear her try, we will have her come back on, make her do it. So reader request or listener request, viewer request, whatever you want to call it, you put in the comment section what on the Spotify, what accent you want to hear, or in the comment section wherever this posts, you put that on there. We will arrange that episode. She will come back. We will do the things. She will, of course, get time to prepare because we are gentlemen and ladies here, and we are civilized.
Challenge me.
Yes, but we might even have an accent off, and we'll get some of the other narrators that have been on the show. It could be fun.
Oh, yeah.
That might even be one we do live. Nick, season 4, that's going to happen.
I'm in. I think it would be cool to like have something like almost like a game of horse. For those of you that, like played the so one voice actor goes off, and you have to imitate that voice, or you get a letter.
Oh, we're gonna make some rules, people. This is gonna happen. Season 4, you heard it here first. We hope you're preparing for the holidays in a sane and thrifty manner. I mean, World War III hasn't happened yet, so you're still alive. So don't forget to buy for little Timmy.
Yes.
He needs new socks.
The McRib is back too. Just saying.
Wait, really? Not here.
Yeah. Oh shit! Really? Is it regional? Yeah, it's back here. If you want an MRE style
rib sandwich.
Rib sandwich. You got it, man.
Faux ribs, but I mean, I'll take it.
Yeah,
Harry, do you want to know what just happened
forget
today?
about it.
I just realized McDonald's loves California more than they love Virginia. I don't have the McRib.
No, I think the wave starts here and it goes east. You'll get it.
I might get your leftovers. That's how it gets here. It's like, oh, these are the ones that didn't sell. We'll just send them to Virginia.
I'll flash you again. You're really hankering for a McRib. I can make it happen.
All right. So thank you for spending some of your precious time with us. For my crazy co-host, I am J.R. Handley, and this was the Blasters and Blades podcast. We'll be back next week at the same time where we'll indulge our love of nerd culture, cheesy jokes, and all things that go boom. Thank you for coming on. We tried to stay on topic. We didn't do a very good job. I give us a C+. If I'm being generous on topicality, I'll probably call this an A- for entertainment value. Sheer comic relief. Nick gets a C. Stabby, she has a knife, so she's always getting an A+.
And the
That's
damn
fair.
show
That tracks.
already.
All right. Any